be on there. Like you could just
No, we don't.
talk.
Like, why you got this fancy thing?
It's really good though. Like it saves my phone a whole lot. You know the phones be expensive. I ain't trying to buy
I
nothing
know.
over again.
Okay. How about that?
All right, y'all.
Are you live?
I am live.
Oh my God. God damn it.
Natasha, you good?
Why?
Thank you. So hi guys. So I'm here with
Don't
Ask
say
a
my name.
Loctician.
God
Find her
damn
on
it.
YouTube. Her name Natasha. There she goes. She's trying to hide.
Why?
So listen, we came on here for a reason, right?
don't
So
put me
we're
on-
we're
don't put
in
me
the
on
salon. I should have tagged you in this thing. I'm gonna tag you. But we're here talking about can men be loyal? And
No.
this conversation is getting quite juicy because I'm a married woman, right? And
So is everybody in this room.
that's why we all gonna talk about it because we need to break we need to do something. Like what are we breaking down here?
Listen, let's fast forward. This is my position.
Here we go.
Men can be loyal to an aspect of your relationship, but they will still cheat on you.
I don't believe that.
Okay.
So I disagree with her, right?
Let me give you an example. You know, you have a job. You love your job. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. But then you go on vacation. After you go on vacation, you feel refreshed. You feel like, you know what? I can get back into this job. I'm going to re-strategize. I'm going to have a new plan of action. That's cheating, okay? That is an example of cheating. The other thing is, I tried to give her an example and compared it to food. What's her favorite food? She claimed
curry
that
goat?
It was curry goat. Can you eat curry goat every day? Try eating curry goat for a whole year
First
straight.
of all, that was a bad example.
It is a bad example.
No way that you can compare food. We get really tired
it's something
easily.
You like.
I am not committed to food. I did not make a vow with food.
You are committed to food because
I'm not committed to just curry goat.
But you're consuming it every day.
No,
you are committed to food.
I'm committed to food in the sense where I know I need to eat it to survive. Do I need to eat curry goat every day? No. There's a variety of food, but I'm not married to food. I didn't make a vow with food, right?
Forget this vow thing. Marriage historically, right? Forget the Bible. Historically, marriage has always been about alliances with family. It has nothing to do with love. And the reason why black women have a hard time in this area is because they're too focused on love and not focused on paperwork. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you love. You know the reason why Indian families and Asian families statistically have a better chance of having a permanent union? Because the families focus on the priorities. Can this person take care of my child? Is this person going to be in compliance with what our cultural values are? That's what they care about. Not if you really like somebody.
But here's the thing. I agree with you to a certain extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree that, there are some marriages that from the inception, like the Indian marriage or, some Jewish marriages, different cultures who do what is considered primarily an arranged marriage. It's not something that was founded on love per se.
Right.
But as they got into it, that vow that they made glue them together.
Absolutely.
The commitment that they made is what helped them to continue to progress and to develop and to formulate that connection.
But that wasn't the foundation.
It wasn't the foundation, but the thing about it is this, right? When you are committed, so we can also say then that commitment on vows also sometimes trumps the love, right?
Absolutely.
So when you're committed to someone, you are saying it doesn't matter what it takes. I may not love you now, but it doesn't mean that I will never love you. And
forget about love. Let's move that to the side, right? Let's park that for a minute. This is the priority, right? It's making sure that financially you guys are sound.
Right.
And what's more important than love is you being compatible to your partner.
Yes.
When you're compatible to your partner, you can last 20, 30 years.
That's true.
When you love your partner, you will last 2 years.
Yeah. Because it changes.
Of course
right?
It does.
It changes. And love is not, to me, when it comes to marriage, it's not the main thing. I like the fact that you mentioned compatibility. I like the fact that you mentioned just like the fact that you make sure there are certain criterias that's going to work for your marriage. Love alone, a lot of people nowadays think, okay, I need to make sure that I love them. To me, that's not the primary focus, right? Because love, sometimes you love today and you can fall out of love,
Right.
right? So those fundamental things, like making sure that you're compatible in different ways financially, your values and morals align along with other things, outweighs love
Let's go back. Let's
foundationally, right?
rewind the tape a little bit. You said something about finances. How much you want to bet that you, right here, the audience, you don't know how much your husband makes? You know why? Because you guys will talk about sex before you talk about finance. You get married, have a kid for somebody, and don't know that he has a middle name. Okay? That's another problem, is that we don't talk about the topics that are a priority, that should be a priority before you even create this union. The other thing is, stop buying your own damn engagement rings. He don't want to marry you. If you're trying to force it, it's because you know for sure that if you don't push this man to the edge, he ain't gonna marry you.
That's not listen, what if he's not okay, so that can go so many different ways, Natasha, right?
Okay.
So if you are buying your own engagement ring, it doesn't mean that there was not a commitment prior to that where this man says, I want to marry you. He could have proposed.
You don't need a ring to get married.
He could have proposed, but what about his, and it goes back to status, what about his financial stance? You can marry a man that, let's say, for instance, you say, you know what, this man may not have, X amount of money right now, but I know he has the potential. I know he's capable.
You
right?
Can't marry potential.
We are building something. But not everybody marries somebody who's making six figures right off the bat.
About that.
But you can get somebody who's not. Okay, if you get somebody who's not at the point now financially where they can say, I can give you that ring. But let's say, for instance, you want a ring, right? If you are capable, that's a whole different story. People like what they want. But if you are capable, because the ring to some people symbolize that, I'm married, this is a union. What are you going to use? It depends.
You know why people want rings? Because you want to convince your friends and family. This here is a symbol that somebody wants you. It's not about, it doesn't
that
matter.
Somebody got you. They took the time out to lock you down and put a ring on it.
If you didn't do the paperwork, it doesn't mean anything. Saying that you are engaged means nada, okay? Nothing. All of this engagement foolishness for 10 years, y'all been together for 13.
No, I don't agree with that. So
if he want to marry you, he'll marry you in 3 months.
And I agree to that. My husband always says, a man always knows what he wants.
He does.
It doesn't matter. Like, a man could see you and say, I want to marry her. Or he could be like, no, that's not it.
He'll also marry a woman that he's not in love with, have children with her, and have investments, have houses, a dog, all of it.
A dog.
And don't even like you. He will wait for the one that he really wants. He will wait on the sideline monitoring her Instagram page.
That's
to
dumb.
See when things, because
that's dumb.
There's only one there's only one true love. You can learn to love people, but there's only one true love that makes your heart beat. It makes your heart smile when you see them. There's only one.
To me, that's too much work.
What's too much work?
If
men will do it.
So then he hasn't been. So we go back to our main focus. Can men be loyal? If he was loyal in every single thing, in every aspect of that marriage from the incept, then he will learn.
He's committed. Look,
no,
he's
commitment and loyalty are two different things.
He's committed to his family.
Commitment and two different things. If you're saying to me, and he's not 100% committed, because if you're lurking. Like, if you're lurking, like you have a woman home. Listen, hold on. Let me explain something. If you have a woman at home, you got kids, you got assets, you got, property, whatever. You're building a life, but you're not investing that emotional component. You're waiting.
Got a man.
So what? You're waiting for that girl to break up with the man so you can leave your woman?
Yes.
That's
and
crazy.
That's exactly what happens.
He's dumb.
And this is the reason why, and your audience will agree, that Uncle Joe, that been with Aunt Carol for 35 years and never married her, will leave her and deal with Diane.
I understand that.
And dated her for 3 months
and married.
Married her.
But you said before, the married men, a man will marry a woman, build a family, all of that stuff and still it's still out there waiting. That doesn't make sense. I can understand and I can see a man who will be with the woman for 10, 15 years and not wed her, and then when the one that he quote unquote desires becomes available, he would leave and marry that one. And I get that
He ends up
100%.
marrying the one that he
Yes.
doesn't love because of the pressures. It's not because he wants to do it. It's because you guys step on these guys' necks and you force
You
them
guys.
into these relationships that they don't want to be in. You know, I'll give y'all a story. I ain't gonna give too much details. I want him to know I'm selling his business. Let me
Oh,
tell y'all a
Lord.
story. A specific person, hopefully he's not watching this,
Oh
right?
God.
He shares with me that he wants to get married. Well, his girlfriend wants to get married. The family is pressuring him to have this big Nigerian wedding. You already know the story. That's $100,000 off the bat, right?
Yes, it's
40,000
expensive.
for food
Yes.
and whatever. When I tell you he started to get skinny, every time I saw him, he was losing more and more weight. He was stressed out.
Oh my God.
So I said, well, how does your girlfriend feel about this? And he said, I feel like she's indifferent, but because of the pressures of her family, she's willing to, she's almost like acquiescing just because the family has
Wants
these
it.
expectations. So I said, well, let's strategize. So the strategy was download the license application. Fill out your part. I want you to put, because part of it is yours and part of it is hers. Fold it, put it in a card. Have dinner, present it to her, and say, I'm ready now.
What?
I know that
Everybody.
you want to have this big wedding. We can have a reception at some point, but I'm ready to marry you now. Let me tell you something. He got married based on that scenario. His reception was chicken wings and beer.
Oh wow.
At a bar. Okay?
Oh wow.
And it was done.
Okay.
Just like that. And the thing is, the pressures of having this big Nigerian wedding would have caused him to leave her.
Oh.
Because he was at a point now where if I can't live up to your expectations,
Standards,
I'm willing to walk away. And that's not fair to him because they actually were a loving relationship. They were very compatible. And she was a very supportive woman. But why? All of this, y'all force these guys into these big Barbie doll weddings. He don't like you that much.
It's the dream. It's the idea.
He don't like you that much.
Of you growing. I don't think it's that they don't like you that much. But I remember when I was getting married and my husband, his idea to some extent was we don't need to spend this much amount of money. And this was over 10 years ago. So things were not as expensive as it is now. But his idea was, listen, if we want to put down $25,000 on this place, I'd rather put that down on a house. You understand what I mean? So it wasn't necessarily it was just where priorities lie and where he felt money would better be allocated. And it's not like I didn't agree with him. It's just that this is something, this is why I say sometimes for the most part, the wedding is really for the women. It's like
the wedding is for the guests. You're trying to convince your guests that you were able to snatch someone else.
Oh my God! No, that's not. That wasn't my. That wasn't my
ego.
No,
it's all ego.
It's ego for Natasha.
The bigger the wedding, the more problems there are in the
married
relationship.
Folk, is that what y'all think?
The bigger I'm married 3 times over. The bigger the wedding, the more ego is involved. And when I see these rings that are like blinding the world, that's when I know that he don't love her. The bigger the ring,
oh my God,
the less love there is in a relationship.
No,
trust me, I've been a hairstylist for over 20 years.
Wait, I want to hear. I want to hear. Stories. But okay. I want to hear. We have.
Okay, go ahead.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's 6 of us in here, females, y'all.
I mean,
yes. Let's hear some. Let's hear somebody else.
Just because the person gets a nice big ring doesn't mean that the man doesn't love her. I do see how you could draw that conclusion. Like he's probably trying to
No, not him. She.
Probably trying to just, cover it up. Cover up the fact that, he's kind of being forced into this with the ring. Like, let me distract her with this here.
I mean, I can see where, if in that situation, I would say, what if the ring wasn't, what if she wanted a big ring per se, right? And he was like, no, I wanted to get something smaller. How would that make her feel? If she was okay with it, I would say the ring is not really something just to show off. You know what I mean? But it's I don't believe that in its entirety that because you want something elaborate, that means that it's just for show.
It is.
Like I said, a lot of young girls have this ideology of growing up and what they see and the idea of being married and having a wedding and the fairy tale of
Make
it.
the
The day
distinction,
that
though.
you feel like, oh, this is my day when I'm gonna seriously be like a princess and you have everything that you want.
Yeah.
That's a fulfillment for most
I
women.
think, most women have
You know?
an idea of what they wanted their
Yeah.
wedding to be.
And none of them are happy, and that's my
That's
point.
not. Listen, I'm about to get up out this chair because
The
she's
whole
driving me
production,
bonkers
all
right
of
now.
this extraness,
No,
this
no,
shrimp,
no,
and these
shrimp.
3-course meals.
Yes, 3 course because
and
people like
unlimited
differences.
drinks, and
Yes,
y'all ain't
'cause
happy.
we like to have a
Y'all
good time.
Miserable.
It's a party. It's a party
so
before
then
you
have
start
a party. Don't have
That
a
is- we are having a
$1,000
party.
event, or $100,000
But these
event.
people come and they pay money though. They give you money back, so you do get something back.
Yeah, that's
You're
why
not
you
getting
register.
what you put out.
You're not, but the intention is not for you to make back the 30,000 you paid in the wedding.
Yes, that's
Because
what you
that's
want.
your experience that you have, that you're creating, and you invite the most loved and appreciated people to join in that
Why not
festivity
have-
with
you-
you.
so you
If you
hope
got not
100
a dollar
people
back,
love
you
you?
would have been okay. They don't
100
have to.
people love
They
you.
don't have to love me on the same level.
No, 100. Why your coworker at your wedding?
Because
I
she
don't
my
know.
friend though.
No, she's
She
not.
my friend,
She's your
though.
coworker.
She my co-friend.
No.
She my coworker friend.
Well, not everybody's a friend that is a coworker. So.
But you're not gonna invite that coworker that you know is not like your homegirl at work like that.
I see people invite people just so that they can have the numbers.
Mhm.
And if I
get
didn't
that.
work in this environment,
I
I
get that.
wouldn't like it. Some of these weddings are just like so unnecessary. Not, I feel like the groom got a phone call or a text and was like, "Yeah, son, show up at 6:00 tomorrow." That's what it looks like. He doesn't even know anything that's going on. He don't know half the people there. He's just like, okay,
It
smile
depends.
now.
No, it depends. If you include him, and there's some men, some groom who don't really want to have a part in anything. There's some who
Most
want to
of
be
them
involved.
don't. The ones
and
that
to
want to be
certain
involved
extent.
are closet gay men.
So to certain, I've never met a groom who was 100%, and I'm not speaking to that, involved in it. This is mainly an event that the woman takes charge in,
It is.
right?
And I think guys know that. They're
Guys
just like,
know
okay,
that. That's not their thing.
Whatever you want to do, I'll just show up with a tux.
A lot of them feel that way, but to some extent, like when we do the cake tasting, they're there. The food tasting,
They don't
you
want to
make-
be there, Nicolette.
right. But even if they don't, you
They'll
make
show
them
up.
be a part of it
It's
because
stupid.
it's two
It's
events
this
for
big
two
production
people.
for cake. Like, get out of here. Just go.
All right, y'all.
Go to the justice of the peace. Have have a reception at some point. Just make it small and intimate with the people who actually care about you.
So
Not the people
I'll
you
say
know.
this, right?
Why
When
is
my
the bodega
husband-
guy at your wedding?
Oh hell
Just
no.
tell me. Why is the bodega guy at your wedding?
Natasha, who do you talk to all the time about these? Because I'm confused. No, like
Y'all would
no.
think that I was
She
single.
says the
Somehow I
bodega.
snag people up still and
I'm
still
gonna
get
have to-
married.
no.
I don't know.
But the thing about it is, when my husband and I first got married, no one really knew. It was just my mom, this other lady, it was like 5 or 6 of us. We went to the Justice of the Peace.
Mhm.
We got married, and that was that. For a whole year, nobody really knew. A year after that, we decided to do a full-on celebration, right? Which we invited like his side of the family and close friends. It was like 130 people at this place, But that was nice. But I'm saying I don't regret
Mhm.
going to the Justice of the Peace. And if that was all we did, it would have been caught myself there. It would have been okay. But I want us to go back to can men be loyal,
Okay.
right? Because that's where we started off. I don't know how we went all the way down to marriage and
They
all.
can be loyal to the relationship, but not necessarily loyal to you sexually.
So what Natasha mentioned earlier is this woman who, or man who basically marries this woman. This woman may be in love with this man and all this stuff. Compatible, have a life, have kids, all of that stuff. But at the same time, this is a married man
Mm-hmm.
that still in his heart
Mm-hmm.
desires the quote unquote true love of his life.
I mean,
Now-
that happens a lot too.
I can
And
see.
then sometimes you are the true love,
Mhm.
but they still want a little piece on the side. I think there's nothing wrong with it.
I'm here standing up for the loyal man. I'm not a man.
Don't disturb your
But
family situation.
I'm gonna
But
stand
you
up for
still
y'all.
gonna get a little piece somewhere, even if it's like 5 minutes.
But that's not even worth it. Like, to me, that's dumb.
It's not worth it to who?
It's dumb.
To who? To you? Cause you ain't in this.
I'm not. I'm the one percentage that she gave.
I've
You
been
know.
a hairstylist for over 2 decades. I have seen and heard a lot. Nickelin is living in La La Land.
We need some men to chime in and tell us.
Men will have, they could be like, oh, babe, I'm going down the block to go get coffee. 15 minutes later, they done got somebody pregnant. You hear me? Okay. Y'all think that
Natasha need a wider variety of people because 95%
of who?
Of the people that you talk about, this is their story. You gave me 1%, and I don't know if this is what you guys also feel like. All right, my theory is this, and I thank God for the man that is in my life, like my husband. And like I said, I don't clock him every second of the day, like, oh, where you at? You going here, there, and whatnot. But I do trust that he's gonna stay loyal to his family. If he decides not to, that's gonna be on him. But I'm not gonna say like, oh, he's there doing this, that, and the third, because I like to believe that I know him enough to know that that is not something that he's gonna do.
Okay, let me ask you something. Let's put that aside for a minute.
We're gonna put it aside.
Do you think the women that got killed by their husbands thought that way?
Oh my God.
No. I'm giving an example.
Be so drastic?
Because those are
maybe
the
they
women.
did. Maybe they were red flags though.
Listen, they got like 3-4 shows right now going on. Okay, right now of women who are in loving relationships and they thought that he was the one and they got killed. The same emphasis that you put on this loving, happy relationship. You know how you function. You know how you operate. You could never have that same commitment from that other individual. That is not you. They are a separate human being and they were separate. You were not born together. You do not know what that person is capable of doing.
100%. And to be honest, they don't know what I'm capable of doing. But I just refuse to believe that all men are not loyal.
So let's talk about statistics, guys. All right? Let's just talk about the basics now, right? Because we know how to use Google, all right? Why is it that the same number of people who are contracting STDs, 18 to 24 years old, why is that same number similar to people who are 50 to 65 years old? You know why? Because those married men, those faithful men, right? They are having sex with those 18-year-olds, unprotected, going back to their 60-year-old wives, and those 60-year-old women are getting HIV and STDs. These committed, they have grandkids, they got these houses, they got investment properties, and you think that because he's been with your aunt for 40 years, that he's faithful.
Maybe she's okay with it. Maybe they had some agreement.
She's not okay with catching the STD. I'm sure she's
not. No, not the STD person. The one that's being cheated on.
Let's just be more open and have a conversation and just say, look, I know that there's a possibility that you may step out. I want to be safe. I want you to be safe. Let's have a conversation around this. If there's something that you feel is a little boring in our relationship, let's try to enhance it in some way. But I want to be clear. I don't care if you take it in the butt. I don't care if you give BJs. He will still cheat on you. Use condoms with your husband because he is the one that's going to give you a STD.
No condoms with your husband, yo.
All right. Get your husband tested, okay? Trust me. Get your husband tested.
Y'all hear that?
Yes.
I think that's a good practice. No, for real.
Get them tested?
Every couple of months.
Yeah. Every couple of months?
Yeah. Why not?
Does that mean then that you don't trust them?
What are you kidding me?
No, hold on a second.
So the STD on behalf of some foolishness or momentary indiscretion.
So you believe that men are not loyal then?
Not as loyal as they'd like us to believe. So yeah.
Wow. So say for instance now I'm your husband, right? And you say, honey, what would you say If is it him or both of y'all?
What, both of us? No, I mean, I know I'm faithful. So
No, but he's coming home to you. So why should he get tested every month? And
She
you
know
not?
what she doing.
But he's giving it to her. So if you want him,
let's just as a general rule,
right?
every couple of months, every like 6 months or so, we'll both get tested. If it makes him feel good and it makes me feel good, why not? What's wrong with that?
I'm gonna just move this over a little bit. So here's my theory. This is way too much on me. I don't need people to see me like that. Can we get it somewhere else, Natasha? I put it on you. But here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It really depends. If you really have that serious conversation with your partner, I would really love to know how he would take it. Because one, I could honestly believe that he would like. First of all, he's gonna say why. Second of all, you may have the conversation where he's cheating. Two, does that mean you're okay with it? Because if you're creating a solution in any event something were to happen, because I'm guessing in the end it'll be you protecting yourself, right? Because you want to be sure.
Yeah.
Then that would mean that if he does it, you're not going to leave him because you're already creating a situation.
We're a family. We have children.
Oh gosh, so that means
so it's like she said, it's a business transaction at that point. The marriage is still intact. He is faithful to the marriage, to the family.
No, not if he's cheating.
That's not true.
Not if he's cheating.
Because the man can take
For her,
care of
it's
his
got to
kids
be all or
and just
nothing.
not
I
be.
don't know.
Maybe that's what it is.
For her, yeah, I think she feels that it has to be all or nothing. Either he's all in, completely faithful.
If
that's it.
So
I think every man needs to have a side chick, and in an ideal situation, a concubine that lives in a home.
So let me say, this is a concubine. Natasha is on a whole other
level. You
level.
went somewhere else.
So y'all check out. Listen, guys.
These dynasties right now.
Sorry for my hair looking crazy. It's getting retight. But listen, check out Natasha's podcast.
Don't.
Your husband needs a girlfriend, a concubine, whatever it is. Tell them where they can find it, because that's where they will hear your crazy stories.
I have a podcast. It's called Your Husband Needs a Girlfriend, and that title is really just a talking point. What I do is I try to get women and men to just think outside the box. So it's about like just life nuances, whether it's romantic, a platonic, work related. I share some stories. I offer some case studies of people who write into the show, and I just offer a different perspective. It's not going to be what people are saying now. It's how I feel, and it's based on experiences. So yeah, I like it. We're on season 2. We're almost at the end of season 2. There's 18 episodes. Check it out. Season 3 is gonna probably start sometime in September.
What platform is it on right now?
It's on Spotify and Apple.
Okay. So here's what I say, guys. Based on what you just explained, is that the agreement that you went into?
Probably not initially, but I do think that marriages grow and change over time, and I think it's only a good thing if you and your partner can sit down and have a conversation and be honest about what's really going on between the two of you.
So to me, that statement right there is completely different from one who is not having those discussions.
Yeah,
I agree with you now.
If you're not having a discussion, that's the problem.
Right.
Because he obviously doesn't trust you enough to tell you the truth, but I want us to have an open enough relationship that if he felt that he needed that, that he's going to come to me and we could just both be safe.
Does that mean now that you can...
listening either to that? Like, it's not just that he's uncomfortable talking to you about it, but women aren't comfortable with
hearing it. Yeah, like that's kind of a...
So Ms. Janelle, does that mean you can go ahead and have your piece too?
I mean...
Even if you wanted it, whether or not you're going to do it? Is he in agreement with that?
That's a question that would have to be.
That man don't want that. That man ain't gonna let you go nowhere.
Yeah, because men usually take a longer time to get over it. If you cheat on them, it's like
they gonna cry.
Yeah, it's like
right.
Like
they're gonna have a fit, like
but
a
then
baby.
they expect you to accept all of that.
Exactly. That's why I'm not for that.
It can't be a double standard. In theory, in a perfect world, yeah, you would be okay with it. But will he really? I don't know.
You know what I find?
But that's why I'm saying though, not to cut you, Natasha. That's why I'm saying, if you have this conversation with your husband, whom you've built a life with, and the way it seems is that you're compromising your vows, your marital relationship, because you feel like, you know what, things are evolving. This man is going to cheat anyway. I don't want to get rid of him. I've spent so much and devoted so much time, so I'm going to compromise. If he wants to go out there and get another piece on the side and it comes back to me, he's still coming to my family. He's staying devoted to me, but that's just a side piece. I'm going to be okay with it. That's messed up. That's not the origin to me. I'm sorry if no offense, you know. That's just my take on things, and I think that's why marriage in the monotonous way where it's like you, me, is not the same anymore for a lot of people. Because now it comes with like, what do you mean? You have a marriage contract and then you have an addendum.
Yeah.
Where you have a thing
like
on the
every
side.
other contract, absolutely.
Things change.
I don't know.
I mean,
And you ain't special.
Why not just be?
You
Why
ain't
not?
special.
I'd be special if I want to be
The
special.
problem is women think they special. It's something about you that you're going to be absolved of all the traumas that every other woman deal with. Have conversations with your partner. What are your deal breakers? When I got married for the third time, I was like, you ain't always married. Yeah, it's in the podcast.
Another day conversation.
I said, what's the deal breakers? Right?
Mhm.
The deal breakers for my partner was cheating. I can't cheat, or she leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I know she's serious, right?
Mhm.
So I would never do that
Mhm.
because I want to stay married to this particular person.
Right.
When she asks what were my deal breakers, I ain't got no deal breakers. Be consistent. I don't want no drama, and we good. Like anything else, we can talk it out.
But what if you, like we're talking about men, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you said that's your partner's.
Let's go to the other two marriages. Okay. The first marriage, deal breakers, because I always have these conversations.
Okay.
He said the same thing, no cheating. He's not about that.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
I personally didn't care if he had a little side girl because I always worked 2 jobs. So
Why? Let me ask Natasha. Why don't you care if your partner have side pieces?
So I think that because I'm a Virgo and we're special human beings. I just think that that's how I've always been. I've never been like a jealous person.
Mhm.
And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of my boyfriends when I was younger used to break up with me because
They're like, this girl don't care. She ain't serious.
that's exactly what they would say.
Mhm.
She's not into it. It's not that I wasn't into it. I just felt like that wasn't a priority.
Mhm.
You know, whatever I was dealing with was a priority. Me working, going to school, us hanging out was a priority. But like what you do when you're not with me, that don't have nothing to do with me. Don't have.
Where do
nobody
you
come
think
to
that
my house.
stems from though? Because
I think you're born with that foolishness. You know, like it's in the genes. Like I just don't care. I never went through nobody's phone. I don't chase nobody. The most that I've done that might be a little bit unorthodox is that as I got older and I had more to lose financially, I started doing background checks on my partners.
do they know?
They're gonna know now.
I actually like that though. I like the background check
I
stuff.
started doing background checks. I used to pay $350.
Oh my God.
This investigator downtown Brooklyn over there by Court Street.
Lord.
And that because I didn't want them to enter my world and disrupt it. And I didn't know they had kids. I didn't know they had financial issues or they've been locked up.
So you started off not trusting.
It's not that I started. See, the problem is when I've always been some people's litmus test. If you run things by me and I'll
Mhm.
tell you what's wrong with it, right?
Mhm.
But once you know what's wrong with it, you're more confident because
Mhm.
all right, she just told me everything that could possibly go wrong. So
Mhm.
if none of these things happen, I know that it's gonna work out. It's gonna be smooth. I feel anxious as a person
Okay.
when I don't know
Right.
what can go wrong.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it's a way for you to control
Absolutely.
and have a hand on what's okay. I get it.
So yeah, I didn't want anybody. I like peaceful environments. Imagine you come into your home and some girl is waiting outside for you. You know, like
You do know that can happen regardless, right?
But the
Sure
thing
can,
is, if
but-
you're not a mixy person,
Mhm.
that doesn't happen.
Mm.
You know, if you're not a mixy person, it doesn't happen because you're cautious about who you allow to. One of the things that I mentioned in the episode was, I'm uncomfortable with women who allow new dates and new partners
To meet their kids.
not forget the kids, right?
Who?
The people you love outside of that.
Uh-huh.
Your friends, your best friend,
Uh-huh.
your family. Because
Mhm.
when things go wrong,
Mhm.
right? Because you ain't going to be with them. The
Mhm.
likelihood, the statistics is that you're not going to be with that person.
Mhm.
So when things go wrong, they've been exposed to everything that
Yeah.
you care about.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't have this discernment. Be easy.
That's a
Date the
good point.
person. You know,
Mhm.
meet them there. Why you have people coming to your house
Yeah.
picking you up? If you saw a guy in a bar, you wouldn't just take him home. Well, at
Some
least
people
we
do.
won't.
Yeah,
you know,
we ain't
won't.
got that time.
But you wouldn't just take him home, right?
Mhm.
Because that would expose you.
Yes.
So why are you doing it to some guy that you just met 2 weeks ago? People get and they don't ask questions. Y'all so hyped because he got good hair. You don't care about nothing else. You're not asking no other questions.
Yeah.
And
I think people get blindsided by just the rush of it and that initial moment, the attraction, and especially depending on the state that you're in when you're meeting people. Like if it's been a long time and you're like, oh God, somebody's finally paying me attention, like those kind of things. But to be honest with you, your point is valid to the degree where we're not asking some of these questions that are pertinent in the beginning phases of a relationship. Some may find it like it may run people away because what if it's not something long term? But if it's something that's of importance to you, at what point do you even bring these questions up?
First date. I ask people, what's your credit like? I ask, what kind of friend are you? I want to know how you show up.
If somebody were to ask me that, I think some of it may be a bit much for the first date.
Then don't talk to me about how big your penis is. I want to talk about
see
none
if
of
a
that
person
stuff.
see that's not my kind of crowd. So if a person that's like a person who really it's not going to go anywhere, because those questions, the questions you are asking to me are to you have to know or get a feel of the individual that you're asking that to. If you're going on a first date per se, is this just with someone? Let's say someone introduced you to them, you met them at the bar, or is it someone that you've kind of known for some time but not that in depth, where you get a good sense of them but you don't know them that much? Because like if I meet somebody at the bar and I grow up and I can expect that question about penis size from somebody like you just meet, like in certain settings.
After two
but
drinks, a man who wouldn't ordinarily have that conversation with you feels more comfortable. That's one. Two, there are certain things, certain answers that you can deduce without even asking a full question. And I'll give you an example. I was dating this Puerto Rican guy, right? Nice looking. I was like, okay,
Yeah, you went for the good year.
Because I wouldn't have kids with a Puerto Rican. Let's be clear about that. Okay, so anyway, we dating. We're talking more on the phone, more so than dating. So we finally go out on a date, and he takes me to this place over there on Fifth Avenue in Park Slope, Brooklyn. I get there first, so I order a drink, and now I'm looking at the menu. And he's a little bit late because he was having a hard time looking for parking. But you know how it is, ladies. When you going out on a date, you don't eat the whole day. You just have your coffee. And I'm starving. My stomach is bubbling. Now, I got to eat something. So I order like a little appetizer. It was like a shrimp thing, right? So he comes in, and I said, oh, I already ordered a drink. And I was pretty much finished with my appetizer. I said, what do you want to get? And now he said, yeah, I'm just going to get a drink. So I said, you don't want food? Because I know you didn't eat all day. Now, we're talking all day. He's staring at the prices. That signaled to me that despite the fact that this date was planned, that he's on an extreme budget, right? He cannot afford to date. Forget about date me. He cannot afford to date. So that already put me
Who picked the place?
Oh, he did. Because I didn't really know Park Slope like that. That was a signal to me that he, his situation was a little dire, but he still wanted some butt, and that's the reason why he's dating. So I said to him, hey, I don't want you to look at the prices too long. We're going to go Dutch, so you don't have to worry about that. And he said, oh my God, thank God. Because I really couldn't even afford this date. And I said, don't worry, things happen. But what that said to me was, if you're going to continue this relationship, you have to know. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh.
Sorry.
You want to move? Give us some more. You want ginger candy? That might help.
Maybe, yeah.
There's the ginger is towards the back of the candy bowl.
Natasha, why can't I put this so I could chat on here?
Let me see something. You know I'm not your moderator, right?
Girl.
Let me see something. Hold on. Live chat. It should say, yeah, all messages are visible.
You should be able to chat in there, but it's not allowing.
Hold on. Yeah, it should be there.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, guys. So anyway, the situation with him, it was an indicator to me that, you know, his finances were bad. And not to say he was a great guy, but he just wasn't in a position to date. So I knew that was a signal to me that, hey, if you're going to hunt this boy, make sure you use a condom, right? One, because you can't get pregnant by no broke folks. And then the other thing is that now I need to back away a little bit because I need to give him room to get his finances together.
Maybe that's not even where he is. Maybe he just wanted that one thing.
No, it ended up being that. You know, it ended up being that he was at a job that just wasn't paying a lot, and he was a little lazy. I encouraged him to start his own business, and he was able to do that. I'll tell you a funny story because years later, when I was pregnant, I actually had him come to my house to paint while I was married to my husband.
He knew it was you?
Yes.
Oh, God.
I called him.
Oh, my Lord.
So he ends up having his own
business,
not construction company, but they did
handyman
painting.
stuff.
Well, they painted for universities. So he ends up growing his business significantly, which was great. I was really proud of him. But
goes back to my point earlier.
But I'm not dealing with that potential. I'm gonna tell you
back
why.
to my point. That boy had potential.
Let me tell you
and she
why.
let him go.
Let me tell you why you don't deal with guys that have potential. Because starter wives always get the brunt of it. Okay. Starter wives, like the ones that do that whole struggle love thing, when they get where they want, what they do is they leave you. You know why they leave you? Not because you're not worth it, but because you remind them of the struggle.
Not all of them, Natasha.
That's the reason why they leave you.
Not all of them.
All right.
Not all of them.
Let your man get rich.
But look, listen.
And see how many white chicks come through.
But listen, if you are loyal, have been loyal, and you've been holding this man down from the inception, he ain't gonna do the same thing
for you.
According to her.
He will
she
not.
Ain't everybody,
the
y'all.
Statistics say that.
Statistics only involve Natasha, right? So, listen, y'all. If you have been holding that man down, you help him go to school, you help him get whatever certifications he needed. You've been holding the house down. Why do you generalize your comments?
I'll give you another one.
Stop generalizing.
I'm trying to another one. How many chicks? All right, let's just stick to the facts, right? Let's let your audience decide. How many men do you know that left the state to move to go be with a woman? 0. Okay. How many women do you know that have left the state to be with a man?
I'm going to tell y'all this story because I know y'all don't know my story. My husband and I met, right? Lord Jesus, I hope you ain't mad at me saying all this.
Don't say it.
Sorry, babe.
No, don't say
Natasha.
it. No, don't say it.
He's probably that person watching right now.
Protect your relationship.
No, this is not going to break anything. My husband is a teacher from Jamaica. Was teaching when we were courting, engaged, all of that stuff. Fully established, has a house, everything in Jamaica. I am here. When I was here, when we met, I could be that one who was like, yes, I was still finishing graduate school. He had already done school, had a job, had a house, everything. I could have moved to Jamaica and be fine. Oh, hi, baby. Oh, go ahead, boo. I knew it was him. See, that's my boo.
Oh, my God.
So he left and he came here, right? He gave up his job with his pension because he was in education. He sold his house years after, but he had all of that foundation set up to come here, and he literally started over.
For you.
For me, for love. Because watch your face. Look at your face.
He ain't come here for love.
Babe, she's talking about you.
He came here for papers.
She's talking about, he came here for papers. We have been married. I look crazy. Let me get out this camera. We have been married this November. Oh shoot, that's not what my wedding date is.
Some $200 pension.
Babe, I'm really sorry. Natasha, stop because I screwed up. My anniversary is literally 2 days from today. And I said November. I'm sorry. August 24th.
Okay.
11 years.
Child.
3 kids.
He wanted that residency.
My husband proposed to me 5 months. We got married 3 months after that. He said the USA was not an opportunity. Like I said, he had all of that.
That's hard love, okay? I'm
gonna take care of her for you, baby. Don't worry. I got her. Don't worry. She play herself. But what I'm saying to you is, listen, Greek card love. No, look at you getting ideas. But what I'm saying is this: not every man cheat. right?
No, I don't think so.
Not every man cheat. You have loyal men. And the thing about it is, our marriage is founded on Christ. And I know a lot of people would be like, oh,
girl,
this, Natasha,
girl.
you gonna chime in. I know you are. But listen, men can be loyal. Women can be loyal.
Absolutely.
My husband and I met within a short proximity of time. And I'm going to say to you this, like, our values and goals aligned.
Right.
And we've grown to love and fall in love with each other over the years as well. It's similar to like what you would call like an Indian kind of thing, where it's like it's people that knew us and knew what we liked and valued and brought us together, right? So I say this to say that it does happen.
It does.
It does happen, right?
It's an anomaly, but it does.
I'm the 1%. Okay. But I'm just saying, like, you can't generalize things, and I know that I
You
can't
can generalize it based on generalization.
But say the percentage, because nothing is 100.
The thing about it is, all of this information is publicly accessible.
Right.
So if you just want to look at statistics, the likelihood of you getting married is what? 1 out of 3 black women get married. Statistically, 70% of women who get married in the United States get divorced within 5 years. Those are just the stats. We're not talking about my personal opinion.
So if it was up to myself and my husband, the statistics. So here's the situation. When he came here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was living in a basement.
Mm-hmm.
Finishing graduate school, he wasn't working. He's used to working, getting up every day, and going to work. That shift for him was a whole lot.
Right.
Right? He had to start off, he went back in education, but he started off as a sub. Where we are now is vast different from how we started.
Right.
I say this to say the foundation wasn't as firm as it could have been like right now.
Right.
But we have stayed together, committed in all areas.
Right.
My husband would tell you, like, we're extremely compatible. I'm not saying 100% in all areas, but the thing about it is that the foundation where I talked about you and this Puerto Rican Dominican guy, because of potential, like, I knew what my husband was bringing to the table, and I knew what I was bringing to the table.
Right.
We were both not at the place where we are fully like whole within ourselves. I was still getting myself right, and that's the thing. So we grew together, we built together, and that's what made the relationship better. It didn't leave me when he got to where he is now. I didn't leave him. I wasn't where I am now when I met him, nor was he.
But it
made it stronger. That's the point that I'm trying to make. All right.
I want you to look at everyone that you know, and just be real with yourself.
Yeah.
You know that your unique situation doesn't apply to everybody that's around you.
It doesn't.
You know for sure that out of 10 couples that you know, if you know that many couples,
yes, I
right?
do.
You know that many couples, 8 of them are a disaster.
I don't know intently if they are.
8 of them are a disaster, okay? I'm trying to tell you, just the hairstylist experience is completely different from a therapist.
Yes.
Therapists, what they do is they help you with coping mechanisms. Women here vent, okay? Not for an hour. We deal with people for 3-4 hours at a time. I'm trying to tell you, the things that happen behind the scenes are creepy. It's a disaster.
I understand.
And all I'm saying is, hey, I'm not saying that it's going to be a perfect situation if you use my formula. I'm saying, hey, just ask a few more questions. Don't take anything at face value.
Yeah.
You know, pay attention to the signs. Like, I think that part of the reasons why we kind of get into these disastrous relationships is because we don't even know what to ask, right? Or we feel like it's intrusive if we do ask. If you know that you don't want somebody to disturb your peace or disturb your livelihood. I was married to a man that did not know where I worked. You hear me? Because I have a thing about people trying to mess my money up.
Oh my gosh.
I don't care. You got a girlfriend? I don't care about that. Let your girlfriend come to my job. And the world is going to shut down. Because that, to me, when your livelihood is more important than anything else, because this is your foundation. This is how you pay for your home. This is how your kids are able to sleep in peace. But that is a foundation for me. But for you, it might be the Christ. It might be a Bible.
Yeah, it is our faith.
But not mine.
But the thing, and that's fine. But the thing about it is, that's a big issue. If you say he doesn't even know where you work because it messes with your finances.
Nobody will know where I work.
In the sense where, look at it this way, and I know that has shifted, right? in the sense where right now there's a breakdown. Why don't he know where you work?
Nobody
And
knew where I worked.
but
Like
that's not a nobody to you. That's your husband.
See,
that's your other
that's
part.
the problem with women is that you guys don't think practically. You guys are always thinking with your heart.
You guys, you're
What
part of it.
I'm gonna tell you, yeah, of course I'm part of it. When men and women break up, right? When their relationships sever, men care about how much money they spent in a relationship. You know what women care about? How much time they've invested. I can't believe I've been with him for 20 years and he did this to me. Men are like, how much you gonna get from my pension? That's the difference. I unfortunately I think more like men.
I was about
right?
to say, do you think that way?
I care about if you're gonna try to disturb my money. Because I worked in I guess like my first real career was in a payroll department.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw how men will screw people up, screw their wives up. Let me tell you a quick story. I need to put that on the podcast too. Let me tell you what this guy did.
Mm-hmm.
Woman works in HR. She's I don't know if she was like an HR director. She was high in management, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes because it's a 9 to 5, it was a city job. You're not always able to get all the work done. So she would bring some of her work home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, the policy with the agency prevents you from bringing anything that would violate someone's privacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a violation of HIPAA because HIPAA is more about medical and health records,
Mm-hmm.
but social security numbers are involved.
Mm-hmm.
My dude, this is a longer relationship. I think they were together like about 8 years, 7 to 8 years. When it was time for them to break up, because she caught him cheating, he brought the girl to the house.
Mm-hmm.
When all that started to break down, my dude called the HR, the head of the HR department. That entire time he was with her, and she would bring home her paperwork. You know what he was doing? Making copies of the paperwork.
Oh wow.
Making copies. They have kids. Making copies of the paperwork. So he made copies of the paperwork and said she was violating people's privacy. Guess who don't have a job? And she got 2 kids to raise in the middle of a divorce.
That's crazy.
It gets worse.
That's vindictive.
Not on her husband
Mm-hmm.
that she got 2 kids with. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, she could not afford the apartment and she couldn't stay there anymore. So you know what she had to end up doing? She had to end up living with the grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
The grandmother lives in a 1-bedroom apartment in Canarsie.
Wow.
So it's her, the grandmother, and the 2 kids, right? So now you gotta smell mothballs all damn day, right? And you don't have no money to pay for the car, right? She loses the car, she loses the apartment. She didn't have a house, loses the apartment, loses the car. She gotta trek these kids back and forth. My dude goes to pick up the kids one day and she's cooking food for him. And I told her, I can't talk to you anymore because you keep borrowing money from me, right? Because you trying to keep up with just like basic expenses and you done cooked some oxtail dinner for this dude and he done messed up your entire life. We cannot be friends, right? But the fact that happened, who would have thought that this man that cherished you, that cared about you, would do something like that? They don't tell you ahead of time. They don't tell you when they're walking down the aisle. I'm trying to say to you that when men want to screw you, they screw up your money. They don't screw you up with your family because you've already done that. Because you've isolated yourself from your family because you're chasing this dude. Women always sever the relationships with their friends and family for a guy.
That's crazy. I mean, I can
You
see where that happens.
As soon as you start dating somebody, you don't call your friends anymore. One of the things that I say when I date people in the beginning is that my relationships will not shift. If I have a hobby, those hobbies will continue. I'm not gonna stop talking to my best friend because I'm dating you, and I'm not that busy. Anytime somebody say, "Oh, I'm busy," nobody's busier than me. Okay, even Obama was going on vacation. You're not busy that you can't sit on the toilet and text me. So I don't believe that. I think that what happens is these men take priority, and you get so obsessive because you just want the D, because it's new, and then you forget you compromise your relationships. And you know what happens? Those same relationships that you compromise, you have to run back to those same people When you find out dude is dicking down his secretary, now you want to call me. It's maintain your friendships, maintain your relationships. Don't allow people to isolate you. That's what I see often, is that women get so consumed with people. Men will respect you more if you know how to balance. If they see that you
But you have those men who are like, well, the controlling type.
that y'all not compatible.
But some when you're this is the thing. A lot of this comes from the foundational phases of it. That, oh my gosh, he makes me feel this way kind of thing, and the butterflies and all these things, and the controlling nature that starts to come out, and you don't see it in the beginning as such until it gets so big, because it's like, oh, spend time with me, you don't need to spend time with your friends, whatever. Some men do that
You're already
as a
weak.
confusing nature.
No, you're already a weak person, because that doesn't happen to strong chicks.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't, right? But this is what I'm saying, that some people fall into that trap and get caught up. Not every woman is gonna, oh, I'm gonna stop being with my friends. There are some people who may have issues, daddy issues, or have been in certain relationships before, that they feel like this is a pattern, and they don't know how to shift from that yet. There's different circumstances that cause women to and some men to fall into those categories. But it's just sad that you have that happen. And it really shouldn't.
It always happens. Women always do it, and I think that's dangerous, because what I see with women is that they will utilize all their resources. They'll burn them out. They will sever relationships. But men don't do that. They don't let you disturb their relationships. You can't call their frat brothers to see if they can babysit, but you will call your homegirl over and over and over to help you. But he will never utilize his resources. Maybe his mom that came from Jamaica or Nigeria or whatever, she'll come and stay with you for a year. But they don't burn out their relationships, and women do it all the time, and that is the problem. Like, you have to keep a balance, even when you get into a romantic relationship. Continue to water your friendships. No one can ever, anyone who knows me, whether it's peripherally or you really know me personally, no one has ever said, oh, she's sometime-ish. I'm very direct. I've always been the same person. If you care about me, then it's going to be reciprocated. I will never be like, well, girl, I got to go home. No. I'm just like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with such and such. I'll be home at 8 o'clock. I'm going to ping you the address. I'm never going to put my relationship first. I'm always going to make sure that I split my life up into threes. 30% is, my home life. 30% is for me, and then 30% is for everything else. That includes friendships, work stuff, whatever. But I'm never going to put a romantic relationship over anything else that I do, because that, I think, is dangerous.
But let me tell you what I do. I have boundaries when it comes to my household, and the boundaries stem from,
I'm listening.
Knowing that.
Hold on. This is Natasha with Vanity. Can I help you? Oh no, damn. Answer it for nothing. All right. Go ahead.
My husband is calling, but I don't know. So my boundaries stem from it's my husband and I. Family members are not close by, right? So I'm very much big on time taken away from either of us.
Right.
Hold on one second. Connecting. They're like that. She asked for us to go. I'm gonna text them when I'm leaving to get ready. So my thing is, because I know that it's just me and him.
Right.
Not any and anybody's gonna come in. Not any and anybody's gonna come in and take up too much of our time, either of it. Because the way that I view that is, if he has to do something for 3 hours, that leaves all the burden on me right now.
Right.
To deal with the house, to deal with the kids. So when it comes to that, there has to be a balance.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm very particular about that. So it's like, if somebody were to call me, like, I'm limiting my time on the phone with you.
Right.
Because I'm mindful of how that may affect what my husband has to do. We both have to work. We both have to deal with the kids. So it's time consuming. We're
but you're
both
still
tired.
answering the phone.
I'll answer it.
A lot of people don't.
Oh, it's small.
Very small.
You doing micro?
Yep.
Oh my. That's smaller than me, right?
Okay.
No, don't compare. Don't start doing that.
No.
Don't start
I'm
doing
saying
that.
no. I'm not doing it for I'm just saying it's
She
it's
has different
tiny.
hair than you.
but it's gonna bulk. Yeah.
Where's your phone so I can take the picture?
Right. So that to me, like I set boundaries like that. Like I can't deal with all of that.
But at least you pick up the phone, Nicolin.
Yeah.
I've watched women look at their sister. I remember I had a client. The sister was calling. She ended the call, and this guy that she had just met, she picked up. And I told her, don't do that. Because this dude, he's not going to be around in 5 minutes.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that no one says it out loud because they're always worried about their friends being critical, or you don't want to disturb your relationship with your friends. But no, I just call a spade a spade. Water all of your relationships.
Yeah.
But your friend is always going to be more loyal to you than some random dude that you met on Tinder.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to agree with my philosophy, but I'm not wrong. The numbers say what it is. I'm not wrong.
I mean, your view is what it is. Can no one take that away from you?
Y'all living in this la land if you want to, but you gotta always you gotta reserve 10% of yourself. You can't give everything to everybody. Just reserve a little bit for yourself, just in case. Not that you operate with negativity, right? Because I'm in love with my partner. Like I don't have any plans on ever leaving, but I also know that we've been married before. Everybody feel that way. I mean, I ain't feel that way before, but I've been in the thing, so I get that you feel that way. I know this is different because the actions are different, but you still gotta reserve yourself, just in case. Even if it's not even you reserving yourself because you feel like they'll do something to you. What if something happens to your partner? You gotta still be prepared to operate and function in society.
You can't lose yourself 100%. I get it.
Yeah.
But I stopped dealing with friends who get so consumed with people that they forget about their friendships, because I know that they're gonna call when something is wrong, and I don't want that kind of sometimes friendship. I don't want that.
But to me, like, people enter into unions at different stages and levels of life. And
what does that have to do with anything?
Because you mentioned that people would ignore, right? What's causing, and my background is always goes back to like root, right? What's causing you to negate the family, negate the friends that was there before this person entered your world?
All women do it.
Not all women.
Oh, I'm making generalization. All women do it. If you look at 10 of your friends, they will stop answering your calls as soon as they meet a new dude.
Then that's messed up. That's entirely messed up. Like, that's not a true friend. That's not somebody you should be around, though. Because that don't make sense.
But then those are usually people that I don't really
rock with.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, you're that kind of friend. All right, bye-bye.
Even when you tell them, look, I seen your dude wherever, right? Call him because I don't know, that situation look a little messy, right? They'll get mad at you.
They would.
Yeah. And some people, I just wouldn't even say anything, like, ooh.
You gotta say something, because if they find out that you knew, then they'll feel like you held it back. And then you're not a good friend.
Obligated. Well, it depends on the level. Yeah, it depends on the level of friendship that you have.
I only have 2 levels.
Okay.
We're either extremely good friends. I mean, to the point where if something happens to you, I'm taking care of your kids. If you need a co-signer, I'm there for you. It's a all or nothing with me.
Yeah.
And then we have people that I just know.
Okay.
Yeah, like acquaintances, like.
Yeah.
So, but it's no in between. There's no like, oh, I know them from high school. You're just somebody I know.
Yeah. So with those people that you just know, that would you feel like you were obligated to say something to them if you saw their significant other?
Because they're not my friend.
Yeah, they're just like an acquaintance. I know you and I know that guy, but
that's it.
I don't have to tell you about that because.
But if it's a friend, I'm going up to the car.
Ready to fight. Hello. Like video.
No,
I'm calling Nicolin.
You and I know that you're not supposed to be here. So what's gonna happen now?
Right.
So what are you doing? Get her out the car.
Yeah.
Because this is it. Because I'm telling.
Right.
That's it. That's my obligation to my friend. My friend is my ace boom coon. It's all or nothing with me.
It's to me, it's a tough situation, because I know situations where people are not like being faithful per se, I don't go to them and be like, hey, I don't necessarily think it's my place. Um, they're not like, they're people that I know. They're not like a friend,
Okay.
friend like that. And then you weigh the situation. Like, how would this affect the other person's life? Like, I don't know.
How would
It's
it
a
affect them
tough
if they get HIV?
situation. It's a tough situation. And I feel like even thinking about it now, I'm like, dang, I probably would want to know, but I don't know. It's tough. It really is tough.
I'm gonna say something because one, I already know that once I say something, our friendship is over because you're gonna choose, to still
Probably.
stay,
What
which
you
I don't
want.
care. But I'm just
Mhm.
letting you know. At least I feel you can't unhear it.
Yeah.
I feel more comfortable knowing that I try to keep you safe.
Mhm.
Now, whether or not you come around and be like, girl, I'm sorry, I'll never be your friend again.
Mhm.
If I tell you what I saw,
Mhm.
because I don't make up stories,
And you
if
get
I tell
mad.
you what I saw
Mhm.
and you stop messing with me,
Mhm.
we'll never be friends again.
What
However,
if-
I won't be upset with you.
But what if you have this friend, a really good friend of yours, that came and said to you, they did something. You know their partner.
Uh-huh.
Would you tell their partner?
Well, you can only be friends with one person out of
Yeah,
the
you have to
couple.
choose.
Right.
There's no obligation.
So
to
you
both.
won't tell the partner.
Whoever I'm friends with, that's my obligation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know some people try to say that they could be friends with a couple. That's not a real thing. Because if y'all break up,
You're choosing one
they're
side.
choosing
yeah.
one, yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
only if unfortunately, if it's if the other person that's being cheated on is my actual friend, and the girl tells me something,
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell her. So you know
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell him, right?
Yeah.
So how much time you need?
Jesus
This
Christ.
is like, okay.
Yo,
you got about
oh my
3 days
gosh.
before I'm
Nah,
out to
how much
say
time you
something.
need? You might have to get
Wow.
your affairs in order. I don't know.
Wow.
But
It's a tough position to be in.
it's not for me, because if you're an honest person,
Yeah.
people know that I don't do things out of malice. I've always been a kind, loving person. I am very direct, so sometimes that can be perceived as being abrasive.
Yeah.
But there's no one that can come out of the woodworks and be like, she's done something unkind to me.
Would you give them the time to say it themselves first?
No.
Oh, shoot.
No, because I know that if you say, give me 6 months, give me
6
3 months,
months.
or whatever.
That's
I
a
don't know.
long time for something like that. No.
You're not going to do it. I'll give you a couple of days to
Yeah,
get
like
your
a day or
bearings.
two, maybe a week at most.
But what if they say, you know what, let it come from me?
No.
I want them to hear from me first.
I'm gonna be like,
You
that's
gotta give
not
them a
possible.
deadline.
I'm sorry.
You gotta
I'll
give
give
them-
you a week if you feel like you wanna say something before then. Please do, but
Come through, Janelle.
I mean,
All right.
I'll say it's a very scary time. It's very scary. And the thing about it is now, I say to myself, for like the younger people now dating, right?
Mhm.
It's very hard.
It is hard.
And I said to somebody the other day, like, if I were not married right now, I don't know how I would manage.
I would
I'd probably just stay. I literally, like, seriously.
I'm afraid to date.
No, it's really, really bad. And I've had people come to me like, yo, it's hard to find a man. And I'm talking about professionals. I know way too many females who are single. And it's like, you like, oh, maybe I like this dude, I'm not sure. But this dude have someone else. You know what I mean? So it's like they're in between.
It's
I don't
easy
know.
to find a man if you know how to cook and you know how to hump.
A
you
man
can
that
find a
would
man.
just be you. And a man, like,
Child,
I don't know. So
it ain't happening. It ain't.
So-
Y'all all gonna have that man.
So my thing is this, right? Is there, in this day and age, do we think that you can find a man that's going to be 100% loyal?
No.
It's tough. And
Who
I
cares
would
about
say,
that, though?
I
Who
mean,
cares about that?
I care about it.
As long
People
as
care
they're
about
not
it.
disturbing your household, what's
Nah,
the big deal?
They're a part of my household. If I'm married
let
to
that
you,
man cheat in peace and stop harassing him. That's it. Let him have his little side chick. Listen, every Friday you go, and it better be somebody that know how to cook. Maybe some arroz con pollo with some plantain on the side. Let him bring food home for everybody in the house.
the thing about it is, like, it's not. I know it's within our nature to sometimes look at some other person and may say, But as far as like going beyond that, and I know we're human, so we're capable of things, but there are also perimeters that stops us in our tracks sometimes.
You think
right?
like a woman. You have to
So
think like
I am
man.
a woman,
Yeah.
right? So the thing about it is like, for me, if I were to look at it and say, okay, it's fine for a man to go out there, I would want the same thing for me. I just don't know if that would be something that rocks for me. Like for me to know I have two men. I don't know.
You have one, and then you have like the extra. He's an extra.
I don't know if I
activity.
could juggle two men.
But you don't have to juggle. You make it.
I don't.
seem
Nah,
like
that's
it's too-
nasty to me. Like I can't. In my mind, it's like
You know what's
if
nasty?
it's either I'm with you or I'm with somebody else. I don't know. I've never fathomed like put it in my mind.
You're not a man.
And say I'm gonna be. But there are women who think like that. Like I'm watching the same show I told you about. This Love and these shows, this reality shows. She was like, she liked to have different men, like 5, so that if one don't mess up, she got the other options. I
mean, that's a
cannot
lot.
rock like that.
That's a lot.
That seems like a whole separate job.
They're young, so this is what I'm saying. They're younger. Is it like an age thing where their options are just fluid?
No.
I
I think
can't.
some people are just more sexual than others.
Yeah.
I get that too. And that's what most of these shows are about. Like the one with the what is this? The cone. What is that one called? Lana. I think it's the Too Hot to Handle or something like that, where they have a bunch of sex crazed
I know what
singles,
you're talking about. I haven't
and
seen
it's
it
all
yet.
about what they they go from. It's not about, they're just hot in the heat.
I think it's just the age.
That's what
think
I'm
it's
saying.
Timing. It's just age, just because when you were younger, you were hotter too.
No,
No.
I was never that kind of person. Maybe I'm
What kind
cut
of
from a
person?
different cloth where I wanted Joe, Ben, Harry, and Peter.
It's not even that. It's that you were
My drive, you
were-
mean?
Yeah.
Nah,
sex
my drive ain't like that. My drive ain't all over the place.
Alright.
It's not. So thankfully, because maybe that would drive me. Maybe that would have me, in a different situation right now.
I mean, whatever it is, I think you gotta respect people's process. But I think in the process
Absolutely.
of trying to consider other people's lifestyles, you also have to think that don't think that you can't get God, right? Don't think that your relationship is so perfect that
Mhm.
somebody would never.
Mm-hmm.
You only know what you're capable of
Yeah.
doing, and that's in the best of circumstances.
Yeah.
Because put yourself in a situation when someone breaks into your home. Hopefully, never that happens. But
I know where you're
someone
going.
breaks
Yeah.
into your home and you have to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't look at yourself as someone who
Yeah.
has the potential to do that. It just
Yeah.
it all depends.
Yeah.
But just don't ever say that someone
Mm-hmm.
else's body, someone
Yeah.
else that you are not in
You
charge
can't.
of
You're right. I get that.
would never do something. Just
Yeah.
have conversations, babe. Listen, if you ever feel like stepping out, let me know. But I'm not saying absolve the person. I'm saying if someone feels like you're comfortable speaking about it, I think
Mhm.
that they will talk to you about it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're
So-
like, don't ever, if I find out, that's why I think those women that be jumping on top of other women, if they find out their man is cheating, I think they're mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
Something is wrong with you that you would behave that way. Because it's something that's so common.
But the thing is, if you are so open to accept then my thing is, you started off the marriage just being you and your partner, and then let's say 5-10 years down the line, you open the doors to having someone else come in, whether it's both of you or just on one side. So then you're no longer in the traditional form of marriage.
What traditional
So then,
form? You wasn't
where
a
it's
virgin
just a
when you got
man.
married? What
Not
traditional?
no virgin or something like that. What I'm saying is, you and the man, unless you guys had that conversation in the beginning where I'm in an open relationship.
No, you don't even eat
I
the
don't-
same food you did when you got married. What are you talking about? Why you can't evolve? If you've evolved with
If
your
you've
palate, why you
evolved-
can't evolve with the relationship?
You're not going to evolve with your palate that much.
You don't eat the same thing you did when you were 12.
That's a different.
It's not different. We get exposed to things and then we adopt them. Some things we throw back and we like, you know what, I kind of like it here. Why?
To me, if you are changing the scope of how you started, the marriage is not the same anymore.
Your responsibilities at work 10 years ago was not even the same. So does that mean
So
that
then,
that's not the same job?
then it's changing, and then the two people, because not both of them are not gonna be. Let's say you have the man who say, "Yeah, I don't mind going out there," and you were like, "All right," but you yourself do not want to go out.
You don't
That's
have
a
to.
different situation. No, I know, but it's a different situation.
Let me
It's
tell you
not the
something about
same as
when.
the inception.
When you give
What do
them
you do in
permission
that in that stance? You
when
just
you give a permission to do something, they don't want to do it. It's the sneakiness. It's the you not knowing about it. It's the lies that they have to develop over time. Once you tell somebody that they can do something, they don't want to do it. I think if you
it's the don't do it part.
hey, just okay, I'll give you another statistic. You are more likely to get an
Hold on a
STD.
second. Is this gray? Is this all gray right here?
Ask your husband. Ask your
Yeah,
husband.
you my hair.
He's
Is
in
this
your
gray?
face.
Is this gray?
Yes, great.
Oh my god.
Listen, you're not no spring chicken.
I'm about to be 40 in a month, y'all.
That's it. That's
I'm
it.
old.
It's over. Life is done.
Oh my gosh. I'm about to be reinvented. The new 40.
I know.
I'm 40 just today, and I got
Today's your birthday?
Oh,
Happy birthday!
So wait, you're a Virgo.
I'm a Leo. I'll call myself a Virgo because I'm like right on the cusp. But
Alright.
I'm both.
Oh my gosh.
Like I'm a graze in here. Yeah.
Happy. Mines are disrespectful to the T. They're right in the front and they
Yeah.
don't care.
No, no.
That's alright. As long as you
I'm
got
not gonna be able
hair.
to do nothing with color, so let it rock
It's
out.
gonna be a minute.
I'm gonna let it rock out.
I colored mine a few times and they come right back.
I feel like they come back more aggressively.
I'm more aggressive, yes. That's like my mama said. She's like, just leave it. But it just makes me look older.
It does not. Your skin makes you look older, not hair.
Because I'm getting older, my skin looks
No,
older.
your skin looks good. That's what your skin is
Whoa.
what makes you look older.
Nah, these grays are doing me
It's
a
not the
disservice.
gray because people have white hair and they still have young faces.
But maybe I need to change this face.
There's nothing wrong with your face. You
No, I need
you
to lose
chocolate.
some
You
weight.
want to stay young forever.
I wish. I need to lose 40 pounds.
No, you don't. Ask your husband if you need to lose 40 pounds.
He said I don't need to lose anything but this,
Excellent.
but this gut.
Oh, you wasn't supposed to say that.
Yeah,
but-
she don't have-
Yeah, but this gut. I gotta drop the baby weight. Like, the
You
baby
had
weight for 7-8 years.
You had a person. You know that,
A
right?
whole person.
You had, like, a
I had a
human
few
being.
persons. Yeah. No, like my body is like, I just need the midsection. And
So
I'll feel,
do
I mean, I'm fine by myself. Like, to be
Do a
honest, like,
surgery then. Do a tummy tuck.
would my insurance cover that?
They might.
But you know the crazy thing is when you do those tummy tucks, and I know we're digressing, you can only eat but so much, and the way I love food, I would cry.
Or do one of those things where it makes your stomach smaller.
That's the little thing they put in your belly. That's what I'm saying. The little balloon.
Yeah.
You.
But do you really want
I
that?
know that I'm not doing nothing like that. My husband is a fitness person. He gonna help me work this weight off. It's just me. I'm lazy.
You're not lazy, you're tired. That's the
That
difference.
too. But I am
Like,
really.
you're working.
I-
If you were a stay-at-home mom, it would be different. But you're working. You got to deal with
Natasha,
kids.
I'll tell you this much. I'm quite comfortable in my skin. Yes, would I like to lose some weight? Absolutely. But I'm not that kind of girl. Like I told this lady at my church the other day, I'm not the kind of girl who's going to walk around and cry because somebody's like, oh, you look fat. I don't give. Yo, you can say what you want to say. It don't matter to me. I love me just how I am. If I'm going to change and lose some weight, it's going to be because I'm ready for it. I don't care about none of that stuff.
You just got to have like a quick comeback. You
Yeah.
know, people say crazy stuff.
People going to talk, yo.
People are unhappy with themselves when they criticize.
No,
you.
because I look at this lady, we're like, the last time your kid is in his 30s. What you got to
You
say?
is silly.
This is a thing. Like, I have to really watch my mouth. Because people feel like they can say whatever they want to say to you. Then when you say something back, oh, you're being disrespectful. You started it.
It's them church folks.
You started it. And you going to call me rude. I know I'm rude.
Mm-mm.
I just try to tame it for the Lord.
Listen.
That
My
the Lord could
mother's
be
church
pleased.
kicked me out. They
Let's
was- they say you
talk about that. I was kicked out of church.
They said you gonna have to wait in a car.
Are you
Because
serious?
I was like, while does this smell like vagina inside the church? Like,
Oh my
why are
God.
these women not bathing? Like, I think no,
Oh
I think
my
it's
God.
problematic that you have this church and it's supposed to be a clean environment.
How you smelling that? Everybody smell like that?
The
What
church
church is this?
itself smelled like
Maybe
it.
they need a deep clean, the
But
rugs are
that's
bad.
the thing. Like, come on, y'all collecting all this money and all that. Come
You
on.
said that to the deacon?
No, I said it to my mother. Apparently, somebody was listening.
Be like, get your daughter out of here. I don't think they're gonna kick you off of that. Your mama was probably just embarrassed.
Yeah, of course she was embarrassed, but no, they kicked me out. They was like, gonna have to wait for her outside.
Mm-mm.
So I said, all right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get something to eat and
Come right back.
that's it. Go get her.
Oh boy. All right, y'all. We're about to sign off. We done talked off your ear all day.
I don't want no hate mail. I'm just letting you know. I'm gonna
Guys, you can find Natasha on YouTube at Ask a Loctician.
if y'all send
Any
me
questions
anything,
y'all want, just go ahead and ask her there. And you can find her on her podcast. Your husband needs a side chick.
No, it's
Or
your
maybe
husband
3.
needs a girlfriend.
Oh, there you go.
On Spotify and Apple.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. Peace out. I gotta figure out how to
Get
end
me in
this.
trouble.
How do I end this? Just exit
Come
out?
on, I told you I'm not your assistant here. Okay.
All right, let me